Colorado, it's time for a geography lesson, right? With severe weather bearing down today. A lot of you need to know this. This is really important information. So let's start things off with a map of Colorado. What are you seeing in here? You're probably going, okay, I don't care about this. There's a couple things I really want you to focus in on. One is if you live in Adams or Arapahoe or Weld counties. That's a lot of you out there. That's Greeley, that's Aurora, that's Centennial, that's a lot of places I haven't even mentioned within there. You don't need to list them. The point is that when we get into severe weather season, it's April the 24th, we've got a threat for severe weather later on today. These counties are super long, and the majority of severe weather does not happen in the part of the county where most people live. So, for example, take a look at this at Adams County. The majority of people live in the western 5th, 6th of the county. That's where 95% of people live. But often when you see a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning issued for Adams County, it's for the eastern fringe of the county where there's only, it's not to mitigate. If you're joining me from that part of the county, I'm not discounting you. I'm just saying for the, nearly 1 million people who live in the western part of the county, when there's only a few hundred people under a certain warning, people often think in the other part of the county it's for them, but it's usually for the eastern part of the county. Same idea with Arapahoe County as well. These long counties that go about 100 miles from one extent to the other. It's the western fringe where the majority of people live, but the warning is usually for the eastern fringe of the county. Same idea for Weld County, which is, by the way, the most tornado-prone county in all the United States, but it's not because of the part of the county where most people live in, which is in Greeley, down through Fort Lupton, as well as down into Lochbuie. That area is where the majority of people live. It's the eastern fringe of the county where the majority of those tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings are issued for. And that's because the further east you go, the more low-level moisture you typically have, the more active weather you tend to have. So just as a reminder, if you get a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning issued in Adams, Arapahoe, or Weld counties in particular, it's often in the part of the county where not a lot of people live in, if that makes sense.